Nick, Tim Griffin from ESPN.com. I wonder if you could describe the challenges that Texas kick return game provide, particularly with some of the struggles that you guys have had in covering kicks this year.
Right. Well, I think that in both phases in the return game, punt and kickoff, they're probably as good as anybody that we played against. As a punt returner, Shipley is really good decision maker, good quickness, can make the first guy miss. They do a good job in terms of loading the box and forcing the punt and then holding up from the same looks, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for the interior guys to cover. So that's going to be a challenge for us to protect, punch through, and get in cover lanes. And our gunners have to do a good job of forcing the kicks, and our punter has to do a good job of hang time and placing the kicks. Kickoff return, they have tremendous speed, in both their return guys. And I think if you don't keep the ball in front and stay in your lanes and dodge blocks the correct way and read the return and play off the indicator reads that you have running down the field and get guys in the right place, if you give these guys a seam, they're going to get out and get off, to the races, and it's going to be pretty hard to sort of manage that. But I think it goes back to the same thing. It's going to be execution of our coverage teams, which, in the last few games has been pretty good. It was pretty good in the Florida game, but we've had issues with that at times during the season, mostly in how we've executed.
Third row on the right.
Rachel Barbeau, Tuscaloosa News. Coach, I talked to Colin Peake the other day, and he said possibly that the team left up to 21 points on the board against Florida. I was wondering if that was your most complete game thus far this season, and if it was, how do you improve against Texas?
Well, I think that I don't know about leaving the points on the board. I don't know who made that assessment, but I thought we did a good job offensively in the game, controlling the ball, moving the ball, and scoring enough points to have success in the game. But I think you always want to build on what you did. That's probably the most complete game that we played all year against a very good team. And, when you beat a good team like that, it's one of two things. Is that the end or is that the beginning? And hopefully you learn what it takes to play that and that way, and you can build on that in the next opportunity that you have. But that's the challenge that we have with our players, and whether they will do that and look at that as a starting point and how they can build on it rather than the end point and being satisfied with that. And that's a mindset, and that's what we've been trying to promote for this game.
Front row on the right.
Coach Gentry, Estes Mobile Press Register. Coach, was Rowe able to do very much at practice yesterday? And given his level of toughness, do you really feel like there's much of anything that could keep him from playing in this game?
Well, I don't know. We're not going to let him play unless the doctors say he can play. If he's sick and he's dehydrated, and he's not going to play in the game. Not going to put a player at risk regardless of what the circumstance relative to the game is. So I think he's better today. He did not do much in practice yesterday, and I think he's better today, and he's practiced all year, and I don't think he's missed a practice in the 3 years that he's been here. But I think he's capable of recovering and being able to play in a game if he's medically cleared to play in a game.
On the left aisle.
Good morning, Nick. Ralph Russo, AP. If Alabama wins, it'll be 4 straight for the SEC. The league has always been good. You've been in it twice now. It seems to be peaking right now. 2 questions. Is it better now than it was the first time you entered it? I know it wasn't that long ago. And also, why has it gotten so strong?
Well, I think the league, I've always been asked to make comparisons with the SEC and other places that I've been. I think the league is the way it is because of the top to bottom sort of strength in the league. Where most leagues have 2 or 3 or 4 good teams, our league seems to have 7, 8, or 9 or 10 sometimes. So therefore, each game that you play, if you're not bringing your A game, you have a good shot of not being able to have success. And I think that's what makes the league better. Difficult to make comparisons between now and then. I think the league was a lot like that then, and it's stayed that way and continue to improve. I think one of the things that sort of sets the SEC out a little bit is, the great TV package and the great exposure that we get with having as many as 3 games on national TV every week, which other conferences don't enjoy that. They're on more regional telecasts, so there's more of a national sort of exposure that really can enhance, your recruiting base. And, a lot of players in the SEC, I think, that are being recruited, look at it as a conference where there's a lot of good players and a lot of good competition and a lot of good programs and a lot of good coaches, which I would certainly agree with, and a lot of good schools. So the ability to recruit quality players and having quality programs is why the SEC is what it is.
Back aisle on the right.
Coach Bob Neal with Comcast Sports. Good morning.
Morning.
The media has labeled your practice facility Camp Saban with the fence around it and such, and the security, and that's understandable, preparing for a game. My question is, what goes on back there? Not really. My question is, how do you change, or what can you change this late in the game in preparation for Texas?
Well, I don't think we change anything. I think you have to do what you do, and you have to make what you do work against the things that they do. I think technically that's what you try to do in each and every game. And obviously, if you see things that may work or you think may have an opportunity to enhance and complement what you do, you add things. But I don't think it's uncommon for any coach to not want people to see practice when you're playing in any game. And the thing about it is I have no problem with the media coming to practice. But when you televise everything and put it on camera, then we might as well just open it to everybody. So that's more the issue, that somebody can watch it on TV and say, oh, they're running this play now, or they're playing this defense, or whatever. And I don't think any coach really would want that to happen. Would you if you were a coach? I don't know. I don't think.
We've got time for 2 more questions. On the right.
Kevin Skarbinski, the Birmingham News. Nick, you sound a little hoarse this morning. What do you have to do to make sure you're able to discuss things tomorrow night with your players and the officials?
No, I can. Is anybody having trouble understanding me, hoarse or not? Just, trying to project a positive image, I mean. But
Final question, back row on the left.
It's something called allergies,
Coach Saban, ABC El Paso, Texas. Talk about your counterpart, Mac Brown. I'm over here. Talk about your counterpart, Mac Brown.
Well, I think, Mac is, we have a tremendous amount of respect for all that Mac's done in his career as a coach. Each place that he's been has had a tremendous amount of success with a lot of consistency, and I think that he's very well organized, runs a very good program, is an outstanding recruiter, and surrounds himself with very good people. And I think the consistency and performance that he's been able to accomplish at Texas and other places sort of, proves that that he has done a marvelous job of affecting people and getting them to give their best efforts to be successful.
Coach, thank you. Again, we're going to have a photo op with both Coach Saban and Coach Brown.